Episode 4, The Tet Offensive, the attack that changed the Vietnam War. By 1968, the US had spent years bombing North Vietnam, dropping millions of tons of explosives in Operation Rolling Thunder. American leaders believed the enemy was weak and close to defeat, but they were dead wrong, and the world was about to see why. On January 30th, 1968, during the Tet Lunar New Year, North Vietnamese and Viet Cong forces launched a massive surprise attack across over 100 cities and military bases in South Vietnam. This would become known as the Tet Offensive, one of the most shocking moments of the Vietnam War. The attack was coordinated and brutal. In Saigon, Viet Cong fighters stormed the US embassy, forcing American troops into a desperate gunfight right inside their own headquarters. In Hue, communist forces executed thousands of South Vietnamese civilians, accusing them of supporting the US. For weeks, the fighting was relentless. US and South Vietnamese forces eventually regained control, inflicting massive casualties on the enemy. By the end, the Viet Cong had lost tens of thousands of soldiers. On paper, it looked like an American victory. But in reality, the Tet Offensive was a turning point, and not in America's favor. Why? Because for years, US leaders had told the public that the war was almost won. But when Americans saw their own embassy under attack and streets filled with dead soldiers on the news, public opinion turned against the war overnight. Protests exploded across the US, and support for the war collapsed. Even President Lyndon B. Johnson admitted defeat, announcing he wouldn't run for re-election. The Tet Offensive didn't win the war for North Vietnam militarily, but it won the psychological battle. The US now knew that victory was out of reach. In the next episode, we'll break down President Nixon's secret plan to pull US troops out of Vietnam while still trying to win the war, a strategy that would lead to even more chaos. Was the Tet Offensive the moment the US lost the Vietnam War? Let me know in the comments. Follow for more episodes on the Vietnam War.